So as my video states, I need a predator kind of fast, like whole costume. So I'll be doing him. I have 2 days basically to get this guy done. I've actually taken one of my sculpts I did for a clown a ways back. Guys, what have you guys been drinking? That's better. Okay, well, a sculpt I did for a clown a ways back. And I'm going to modify this. I mounted it onto an EVA foam helmet so that it just goes on easy. It'll support more stuff that way. And I have the most janky tripod ever because it is a step ladder with a little grip for a phone on it. It's kind of a selfie stick thing. I've been making apocalypse masks, so that's what my shop is set up for. And I have to real fast knock out this predator. Okay. Just grabbing some foam. All right. So I looked at a couple pictures of Predator to cement it in my mind because whenever I'm live, I don't have access to my phone, which is my easiest method of getting reference material. Because bam, there it is. So basically, all that I'm going to keep of this mask is kind of these brows. Hello, everybody who's saying hi. It has been a long time. I've been knocking out Transworld orders. So mounted on a EVA foam helmet, I did this latex half mask. I'm going to turn this clown sculpt into the Predator. So this goes on easy. It'll support a lot of stuff because I got to build up the mouth. I got to build up the back of the head. So yeah, easy way to do it. And I'm going to work as fast as I can. That means I'm going to work as dry as I can for as long as I can. But as soon as you start working wet, you've got to wait on things to dry. And I know that these bottom mandibles, I've got a good spot to glue them here, and they'll come off of this, so that's nice. I think they're going to be shaped. Kind of like that. I think that's a good shape for that bottom mandible. And I'll heat gun them to bend them out to the shape that I want. I didn't exactly do that on the edge, so should have slid that drawing back a little bit. You're a little more precise if you cut with a blade as opposed to scissors. Because scissors, just a very chomping action that they have, they tend to leave ragged edges. But in this case, that's okay because none of these edges are going to stay. Like you won't see that edge. It's got to be all covered up. Yeah, I think that's where that's going to land, and we'll open it up like that with a heat gun. Maybe we'll do one of these numbers. And I can bevel this edge here. But first, we'll do another one. This is real quick and dirty. Basically, I want to throw a Predator in the show at dark hour next weekend. That's why I'm here in my shop while I'm working at dark hour. My shop is just more set up for making big monster costumes. Dark hour, we have everything we have to do. So our shop is set up to do many different things. This shop is set up to make monsters, and that's it. You know, I don't have a section for woodworking or anything like that. The thing we paint the most, I think, in dark, it's probably wood. You know. A little bit of that graceful swoop back in there. Hopefully that'll transfer through all the layers and stuff this is going to go through. draw it exactly as you want it, then you cut it, it goes off a little bit, and then you know, it just happens. All right, so now I made sure I made a right and a left. One side is texture, I'll leave that on the inside. And these will mount right here, probably. And I'll open them up really good with the heat gun. But I'm going to mount them like this. That's what I'll do, like that. I'm going to bevel this so I have more contact. And I'm going to be thinking while I'm working here, because, you know, this isn't something that, well, we do makeovers all the time, you know, with a mask. A lot of them end up being Krampuses, but I have made a Predator before, and it was build up. Yeah, see, that's really nice, that right there, and then I can open them up with the heat gun. So let's get these on. And while I did say that I was going to work dry as long as I can, contact cement doesn't count because it dries so fast. I'm getting a new brush though, that was a little dead. This will, is this going to be a movie accurate Predator? No way. It's going to be inspired by the Predator from the movie. But, you know, I have to make my own design choices. I'm making this in 2 days, you know. I'm no Stan Winston, so that'll be a big difference right there. And his team, like Steve Wang did the Predator paint. But that paint job kind of changed paint jobs. You know, it changed paint jobs for special effects. I'm going to use a heat gun. I don't want to cook that latex too much. So I'm on day 18 of no caffeine. I'm trying to not, I'm just trying to detox a little bit from caffeine and see how it affects me. Honestly, so far, I'm not sleeping great. So, I slept better when I was taking caffeine, let's be honest. Now, it's not just where I got the glue that I want to heat up on these guys. I also need to warm them enough where they're shapeable for me. Perfect world, I would have dremeled these corners and rounded them off. I think I'll have enough on there, but no one will see that. I didn't really set the other one up yet, but I'm just making sure. So that's on there. Got that nice and pliable. So I want it to come out a little bit and then come back a little bit. This jaw is open. Nice wide open. With jaws wide open. Then I can sink some pumpkin teeth into here to be those tusks on the end of the mandibles. Sexy. But this is the mask, okay? Do I care if the mask had paint on it or not? No, I don't care. I'm just going to glue right over it. It's not a big deal. If it were painted, that's fine. I'm going to repaint it anyway. You can modify any mask you want, just about any way you want. You don't like it, rip the hair off, change the hair, paint it black or white again and change the paint. It doesn't matter. It's your mask. Do what you want with it. Okay, this guy needs a little more encouragement. Okay, that's my bottom mandibles. Well, now it's got a little more spread to the jaw. His face has gotten a little bigger. And I'm going to put 2 top mandibles here because they're a lot smaller. Let's figure out what those look like. I want to have a good bit for them to attach to. It's going to look something like that. Like a dog head. Kind of like Loch Ness coming out of the water. Now I can trace this again onto here. I would love to be able to get this whole mask project done in about 4 hours. And then I have 12 hours or so for the rest of the body. I'm going to do armored gauntlets for him. I'm going to do shoulder armor, chest armor. I'd like to find a way to stick some lasers up in there so he can do that whole scan of the room with his laser shoulder. That whole Storm Area 51 thing is so crazy right now online. I just thought it would be nice to have something. Okay, I've got too much. Definitely on that one, but I got too much on both. I just don't need that much. Cut it down first, and then I'll sharpen. Whenever you trace something, because your marker goes around the outside of it, it does get a little bit bigger. I noticed this one was a little bigger. That's the second one I traced, and it makes perfect sense. I'm not going to think as hard about where these go because, well, I'm just not. Because I'm a terrible person. I'm bad at this. That's why. Let's be honest. Now these I don't really have to do a lot of shaping. I think they'll be fine right where they're at. Figure out those problems later. This is going to make me a structure that I can kind of do everything else around. Now you can make your mask gummy and sticky because you overheated it. I don't want to do that, so I'm just being very careful. I'm only leaving it on there enough to dry the stuff. kind of cool. That's nice. I now have quad pieces on there. Got to do some shaping on it. All these teeth have to change out. Cut those out right now. Certainly don't mind having a lot of breathing in it. And you know what? There's great masks that they sell at Walmart and stuff that are terrible. They're terrible masks. They're not great masks. But you know, when you get a mask for $8 and practice this, it's a great way to do it. Okay, so now I have a toothless clown in there. I did leave some of the gums because I'm going to put some teeth in here. And I'm just figuring out the structure right now and how I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and cut his ears off because I know I got to go over these ears. I don't want ears on it. And I'll just leave myself a nice flatter profile on that side. I'm going to go ahead and start on the front of the face and start this fixing process. Okay, have here some blue paper towel that I'm going to use to make some skin, and I'm going to Super 77 it on first. Yeah, I'll latex it all later. The latex takes too long to dry. Man, I hate a paper mache project, you know? That's not what I want to do. Try and use torn edges as opposed to straight edges, because they're going to camouflage a lot better. See the edges? So I fold it in quarters. And just rip off those edges. I've got nice torn edges that hide a lot better. And I'm using these blue shop towels over most paper towels because they don't have a pattern on them. A lot of times they have like floral stamped into it, and that's okay if you want a flower face predator, but it's more work to cover up. So if I can just avoid it, I will. Do I have a great master plan? No. I'm playing with this. I'm seeing what works. Probably don't need all of this at once. So I'm going to try and, once I've sprayed it, I'm going to try and put it in half. I should not have done this. Should have sprayed it before. Maybe I should have sprayed it after I ripped it in half. And this, even Super 77, you know, it takes a little bit to get really tacky. So let's give it that time. ripped into some weird triangle pieces. That's fine, I guess. But now it appears to be tacky. I really need this to happen, kind of. See, now I've got that skin flap happening over this part that those mandibles are coming out of. So just going to go right up to that. I'm wrapping this bottom mandible mostly in blue towel, and that already gives a better skin look than that EVA foam did. Let's just seal up that ear real quick with a little piece. Always wear gloves when you're doing this kind of stuff, guys. It just gets real sticky on your hands. And now that ear is gone. And those ripped edges, they just blend into each other so well, and they blend into the mask pretty well. You know, so I'm not worried about that. I think that's gonna look awesome. Let's come over here, do the same kind of a deal with this guy. Cover that area. So he needs it. Let it wait about 10 seconds. Let's look at comments. Hello, hello, it has been a long time. Hello, what's up, boss? Hello. Warm greetings from Florida. Warmer in Texas, I bet. Has been a long time. And it's not a sexual predator. Thank you, Skullberg. Don't you have stuff to do today? Shouldn't today be a busy day for you? Hello, Larry Hughes. It's good to be on again. I am back. Yes, Alan Hirsch is back. Great. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed the show last weekend. Yeah, no, there's very few Stan Winstons. No, of course you can say I'm close to Stan Winston. It's Rick Baker, who is also at that level. Thank you, Tracy. Plastic Ninja. Would I consider doing another run of the range mask? Yes, I may do that in years to come. Maybe even as early as next year. It is pretty quiet in here because it's just me. It's daytime. Thank you, Jody. I appreciate that. Cornwall, England. Awesome. Yeah. This is a you can do this with so many different kinds of masks and things. You know, that's what's going to give us the best bang for our buck, and I think it's going to be right here. Just blending this into that. I'm folding that edge over because that's how I want it to appear. And this will just tuck down. See, I've not got a nice skin web now right there. And if it doesn't like laying flat, just rip it. That's fine. And didn't get enough glue up here by the ear. One towel almost did all that. If I was really good, I would use old towels because you don't need a new towel for this. Most paper has a grain. It'll rip easy one direction and not as easy the other direction. Dripping off a little piece here to cover the ear good. Down. That did not have on it, did not have any spray. Doesn't matter that this blue towel is not drenched in latex. Latex is going to go on over the outside and lock everything down. So I don't need it in between every layer, or else it'll take forever to dry. Spray adhesive is not the best bond when it comes to heat and things getting warm. It'll break that bond. But there is a EVA foam helmet in between the person's body temperature and this mask, and I think that's going to help greatly. In allowing this to all stay together. But also, it's going to be sealed in by latex. So that will also help. I'm not thinking too hard about this, I'm just doing it. I find if you think too hard about things, you can have paralysis by analysis, where you think too much and don't get anything done. Boy, I got a lot of thinking done today. Nobody ever says that. And they shouldn't, because thinking doesn't count. You can have an idea, a whole spiral notebook full of haunted house ideas. But if you never built any of them, it doesn't matter. You know, you have to build them. They have to actually come into creation, come to fruition of some kind. Okay, it's probably long enough to let that get real tacky. Push that up under here so that is its own little mandible, but it also adds some depth. It's not a 2D piece that I stuck on there. Got a weird little flap. When you have a weird little flap, just glue it down. Want those mandibles to feel 3D, you know? Now, I would wear gloves during this, but I think gloves would make it worse because then I wouldn't know when my hands were sticky until something stuck to them. Lead this way, I have a good idea. Yep, those hands are sticky. I'm not overly concerned with the sizes of these pieces. I'm just doing it. My favorite color is finished. And that's what this has to be. This is going to be in a show Friday night. It is Tuesday afternoon. I did do a little bit of research this morning, looking at Predator pictures and just figuring out how I was going to do the armor. You know, so I had a basic plan in my head during some morning downtime. Yeah, let's get that up in there. Yeah, that's nice. That's about the same as the other side. That side that I sprayed is ready to go. Perfect. Paraffin. And you guys can see how this is becoming, it's beginning to look a lot like a turd. Everywhere you go. I will do more paper towel under here. I think this whole bottom needs to be webbed a little bit. Webbed as in skin connecting them, not webbed as in cobwebbed or ready to swim. Yeah, that'll work. And this is, you know, this is going to be strong because of so many layers I'm putting on. You know, it's all going to add up. Tommy, this technique is very fast. I'm just building up a structure so that I can then, you know, make it, I can skin it later. I can skin it down the road. I'm building up a nice structure so that I can make this guy look like a predator as fast as possible. That is inconvenient. There we go. Remember up here how I just folded it onto itself? That's what I want to do again. So I want that to be folds of skin. There we go. That feels a lot better to me. This whole area feels nice now. These are a little rounded still. Maybe they're a little squared off. I think that'll be okay down the road. Let me get some pumpkin teeth and plug in a soldering iron. Pumpkin teeth are pretty awesome. They're teeth made to go into pumpkins. They're on Etsy, pumpkin teeth, Etsy. And these are going to be my Predator mouthy spikes. I've got a bunch of small ones over here too. Okay, that should be enough teeth. And I'm going to go ahead and put teeth in, which will get me ready for the next stage. I still got to, I'm building up the back of the head to put the dreads on and stuff. And I'm going to put bumps and stuff in, but for now, this will work. Let's look at our comments. Hey, good to see you on, Nick. Keith, this will end up being a Predator type, Predator-ish. I don't have an email list, Plastic Ninja, but if you follow me and Stiltbeast Studios on Facebook, that'll show you when a lot of new stuff happens. And of course on YouTube. So you'll see when I go live and whatnot. I am bad about cross-promoting, like I don't normally mention new masks on YouTube, but maybe I should start doing that. But I also don't want to seem like I'm selling stuff all the time, because that's really not my plan. Yeah, that's warm. It's not quite warm enough. That's what I call warm-ish. I should have angled these down a little more as opposed to out. These go out, they should go down. And it's probably too late to change that. We'll see. Maybe I will. Let me see how this looks. when your hot glue gun has an on-off button, you have to make sure that that's on too. You can't just plug it in. I think the world will be okay. Well, it's not smelling it. I hold it close to my face to gauge heat because I don't have a lot of feeling in my fingers anymore from, testing the heat gun and all that kind of stuff. So my fingers aren't as sensitive. And let's face it, they're often covered in flammable material, so it's not best to touch them to a soldering iron right away. So that will go in right there. Still a little. There we go, that's nice. Butts up nicely. Now I'm still going to hot glue those in, but just the soldering iron gives me some nice quick sockets. I'm putting this hole into the foam at the same level I want the teeth. The same angle, I mean, that I want the teeth. So I want the teeth to point out. That's the same direction I point the soldering iron. Yeah, just like those, they'll need a little bit of. Okay. Pumpkin teeth are awesome. You are correct, sir. This hot glue gun is actually pretty good about heating up fast. Shooting some hot glue into that hole. Putting that in there, and that's going to lock it in place. Let's do the other one. Hot glue is awesome. Now I'm jumping the gun by putting the teeth on. If I don't want to paint these teeth a different color than what they're at right now, then I probably should just put them on last, right? Get everything else painted, then pop them in. But I do want to paint these teeth, so I'm going to leave them in as part of it. You know what, I'm going to put some just hot glue striations on this EVA foam and here on the mask. And that's going to add some detail in there. These raised areas that look like sinew a little bit, Got to put some around there. Let's make these look a little textured. Because hot glue puts on a nice little weld, I can do the same here. That's also reinforcing the paper towel. That's one more little layer on there holding things together. I might come back and put more of those slimy strings on because I kind of like that. Let's pop some small teeth in. I'm going to do that with the soldering iron. Just make a little hole. It'll melt through. And I set aside 4 teeth for the bottom, but I'm putting in 6 holes. I think I'm going to end up putting 2 mediums in. These are smalls. Hole makes a socket. I can stab in Derteefeskin. Yeah, let me get 2 mediums. You guys might want to see what's happening now. See that maw? Yes, that is a good glue gun. It is the best. For the record, that's my little glue gun. But I can put out a gallon of glue a minute with that. Already looking more predatory than the clown that it started as. I really think that if you take time out of your busy day to turn a clown mask into anything else, you're living right. Okay, so let me lock in those guys with hot glue. Now I have red hot glue that I use quite a bit. There we go. How do you fix a tear in a liquid latex mask? Well, you take paper towel and liquid latex, and you do kind of exactly what I'm doing here. You wet it down and use that paper towel as a little patch. So in doing this, I put the backs of my fingers in that hot glue. And that is a whole level of pain that I probably won't describe to y'all. That's a good one. See the back of the fingers? I don't have calluses on the back of my fingers. Luckily, it didn't hurt that much because I'm from Texas. I have a lot of friends coming into town this week. That's kind of fun. Okay. Top teeth are in. Hello from Kansas City. Hello. Okay. Great, super. Inside of these could actually use some of those striations that I did on the other. This will break up the blockiness of them. But again, it's one more thing to unify these pieces together. And what's cool is that this hot glue won't take paint perfectly. So I'll get still some translucency in there as that translucent glue stick shows through just a little bit, which will be really nice. That's really nice. I want to go around this guy though. Build up like a gum on him. And this hot glue gun has a temperature selector on it. So I can change the temperature of the hot glue that's coming out. And since I want this to build up gums, I'm leaving it on a pretty low temperature. It's on 265. So that doesn't turn this glue into water and make it run everywhere. And I have other guns, I mean, this one can do that. It's gonna go to 440, I think. This one goes to, yeah, 440. So if I wanted to make this water and just fill something with hot glue, I could do that too, but I don't. Okay, I think Predator's mouth is pretty close to done. Okay, let's work on that back of the head and figure out that stuff, how that's going to work. Move my hot tools out of the way. I also intend to build a helmet to just set over top of this too. I might do that. I think I shaped it pretty good to make his little halo. And then I'll do some ridges. Once again, I didn't do it exactly on the edge, but it's kind of a tough call on this. What's happening off camera? I'm just cutting some EVA foam with scissors. Less will happen off camera because the camera is bigger. See how my wild guess was here. I am going to have to go to the store, I know, in the middle of this build, because I don't have enough material to make the dreads out of. I'm going to do them out of backer rod, 1/2-inch backer rod. Well, that's kind of like I planned it. That's good. That'll work. Let me mark it. Longer and we'll cut it just a little bit. So what's happening right now? Right now, I'm putting a layer of contact cement over top of some of this paper towel. So now that's one more layer, just making this guy stronger and stronger and stronger. Different materials, different layers. Now, a danger you could run into, it's possible, is that one of these materials breaks the adhesion of the other. But as far as I have found, contact cement and spray adhesive get along pretty well. Spray adhesive is thick, so I'm just brushing it on the edge of where these meet up and blending that seam a little. And again, adding some thickness, adding some strength. And this dries fast, so I don't feel like I'm going to be waiting forever. And I'm doing this on an area I'm not even working on it right now. You know, kind of the next thing I got to do down there is paint. So that might as well be drying while I'm working on the other areas, right? Yeah, so I kind of had the plan to throw a famous alien in the show. I don't like doing licensed characters in my haunted house, but I also can't bring myself to just put like gray aliens in there. You know, I want something a little cooler. A few things are more badass than the Predator. And this guy is Predator-esque. I'm not looking at a visual reference. I'm not making an exact copy. I'm not terribly concerned with how much it looks like the Predator, as much as I am, it has that feeling. It feels like him. And I've already painted the top of the head in that head rig that I did, which is necessary for structure. So all this I'm doing is I'm waiting on that glue to dry while I strengthen all this other stuff that I've done. Do I want it to be stronger? I think I do. That is now glued on. And now that's glued on, I see how uneven it is. So I can just even that up with a razor blade. I want to sharpen the blade. Am I missing any comments? Hello, Kansas. I do a haunt. Thank you for covering for me and telling them who I work for. I think Dark Hour is a great show, and that's where this is going to be. That's more even.
So,
I'm kind of digging this. You know, this is looking very predatory right now, I feel. You know, this will be where I attach all the dreads. I'll attach them all back here. I'm gonna blend this out quite a bit. That'll be nexties. I'll be right back. I have to go get some stuff to work on this. Just need to bulk out that dip a little bit, and I think I can do that with a pool noodle. Don't work with more than you have to. Cut off an amount that I know is enough. It does, plastic. It does. That's going to work. Again, all that I really need to do here is fill in a little bit of an area. I'm not really trying to give any detail with this. I don't need this to have any kind of a texture. The texture's going to go on top of that. I'm going to hit this well with a heat gun to soften it. Once I soften it, I'll be able to bend it into that shape. That's not. Yeah, it's a bit of filler. All this is filler. I'm going to use this to get some shapes. I don't have, this hot glue is cooling. It's not curing or anything. It doesn't need to be exposed to the air. So I'm actually going to go ahead, paper towel this while the hot glue is still wet. Wet slash hot, melty liquid. Liquid is probably the best word for that scenario. You absolutely, positively have to have a predator in 2 days. This is what you do. I don't see me sculpting this and molding this and having it work out fine in that event. So you can see how little of that cloud mask I actually can still see. That is going to skin up that piece of the head quite nicely. And I'll do another piece over here. I'm just going to hit this first. Yes, this is for dark hour, Mike. I had the harebrained idea to do a Storm Area 51 practice run at dark hour next time we do dog days. So there'll be a predator in the show. I don't mind wrinkles. Wrinkles are pretty natural, so they're only going to make this look better, kind of. Looks like I'm blending in well. Read about the wrinkles. I'm going to trim off the excess so it's nice and clean up under there for mounting of, dreads. So, is this 100% the right way to build things? No. Am I confident that this will last through several nights of show and look good? Yeah. Is it better to sculpt this and mold it? Depends on the application. If I want to spend 400 bucks on it, sure. But this way, I'm spending much less on materials. It's only costing me a little bit of time. Oh boy, our haunted house, we work all year round because we're open all the time. Like we're open this weekend for Dog Days of Summer. That's a show that we do that is werewolf themed. That's always in July and June, So we're always changing and working, but constantly is the answer. But I'm a very bad person to ask that because we are not a typical haunted house in that fashion. We definitely are open more throughout the year than most haunted houses, and that affects how often we're building. We keep a crew of about 20 working year round in order to, keep the haunted house fresh. And you could go through dark hour 20 times, and then still on a show night, you'll get to an area and say, where the heck am I? I don't even know where I am because we changed so much. That's our goal. Cutting off the excess of the paper towel. One of these paper towels soaked with something strong enough for a skin. Crazy, but I'm going to give this sucker a spray coating of leak seal and let that cure up. And that's going to help give a nice tough skin on the outside. Flex seal or leak seal. And it's thick, so it's going to go on and fill some cracks. It's going to be very kind as it goes on. Virtually like obliterating the seams. just enough detail in that original mask, so it's worth being in there, you know? This is kind of like a truck bed liner spray, which I could also use on here. It's got to dry. So, I'm going to do 2 coats of this. I'm going to take this outside now and let that dry. And I'll stop this video. But, do I have a Predator here? I think that when I paint it, I will. Oh, look at that. I can get up in there. Yeah. So when I paint this, I think it's going to look very much like the Predator. I have the right head shape. I'm going to have all the dreads. So this is going to dry. When I get back to working on it again, I'll go live again. But thanks for watching. You guys are awesome. And go make stuff.